morning, everybody, and welcome to today's Lotus Sutra review. My name is Joe, and thanks for coming. First of all, let me just say that it has been a week of very, very busy events. I'm sure for all of you, too, in different parts of Malaysia or different parts of the world, as we just had celebrated on May 9th, the 52nd anniversary of Tzu Chi Foundation. And it was also the birthday of Master Cheng, and of course, it was a very huge celebration. And it's not the usual birthday celebration that we are accustomed to, but it's filled with Dharma joy. Let's just say that. And also tomorrow, May 13th, is Mother's Day, and it's also Buddha's birthday and Buddha Day, as well as Tzu Chi Day, and so the day of Tzu Chi. So there's going to be wonderful celebration as well, and I'm sure all of you probably are going to go on to do some rehearsal, etc. That's because that's what we are going to do here in Hualien. So it's a very busy day, and it's a very busy week. So yet our desire to learn more Dharma has not faded. In fact, I hope all of these events actually will help us to give us more willingness and give us more desire and give us more strength to want to learn more, to want to dive into and learn more and practice the teachings in the Lotus Sutra and the teachings of the Buddha. So let us now begin today's review. As customary, we always talked about last week's summary. So last week we talked about cultivation. How do we cultivate? And we also talked about how to transcend beyond. So there was a part of the master's talk that talks about how to cultivate, that cherishing now, seizing the moment is the main issue. That's the main idea. And even though, so master said that the most important thing is to seize the current moment, knowing that right now that there is affliction. Knowing is the first step. Know that there is affliction, and then the willingness and the strength and the ability to turn it so that you're turning the confused and the deviated views into wisdom, to know that this is not right and to make it right at that moment. That's wisdom. And when you do more of that, to continue to do that, you will be turning the Dharma wheel and you will truly be cultivating. And that's, in a short sentence, in a short description, that's how we can cultivate. That's how we can try to change. It's not to figure out, how do I do this for a very, very, very big, very, very difficult and very, very long time, but it's to seize the current moment. The moment that you realize something is not right, can we change that? Can we turn the wheel? So, and this was to basically say that this is also part of the verse coming from chapter 17. Wherever he dwells, walks, or sits, or recites even a single verse, a stupa should be built. What this means is the cultivation happens when he's sleeping, walking, sitting, or doing anything that he's doing. It's not exactly saying, well, wherever he dwells, walks, sits, we're going to really build a stupa. It doesn't mean that. It means that for all the things that he's doing, for all the things that for all the things that he's doing, and for all the things that he represents and he embodies, there is Dharma, there is teaching. So the Dharma isn't just at a time when, in the early morning, when we're meditating. No, it's every moment that we're doing. It's every moment that we're doing something. That's the Dharma. And we're talking about going beyond, transcending, and that's always coming back to turning consciousness or knowledge into wisdom. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today too. So how do we turn just knowing something into, how do we turn from knowing something into the wisdom of knowing something and apply wisdom onto it? We're going to be talking about that as well. So that's also something that we'll be focusing on as well. So that's that. And okay. Okay, so now we're going to look into this week's summary. And as you know, that this past week, due to the sutra chanting and other events, there was no Dharma talk, there was no Xun Fa Xiang in the morning. Yes, we do have the reruns of the past video, but I wanted to do is, I understand that, I believe, okay, the rumor has it, okay, the rumor has it that next week, sometime next week, we will begin. Master will begin the early morning Dharma talk again. So I want to seize this moment, this opportunity, to go through the chapters review, and very quickly go through the chapters review for everyone. And then we're going to be talking about the path and the way. So let this be a primer. Let this be a preparation for next week when we return to the chapters and moving on to the new chapter, which is chapter 18. So first of all, chapters review. We're going to be talking about we have been talking about these chapters. From the first chapter, introduction to the skillfulness, to parable and faith and understanding, medicinal herbs, bestowal of prophecy and the phantom city. So all the way to chapter 12, okay? From chapter 1 to chapter 12. And all of these chapters, what are we trying to say? It essentially talks about faith. It establishes the faith, the belief. All of these chapter 1 through 12, it's using different ways. It's using stories, using parables, using conversation, using different ways to describe the same thing. And that is to establish the faith and the belief. In what? The faith in what? The faith in true suchness, the inherent Buddha nature that we all have. We have to establish that we all have it. We as in the sentient beings, not just humankind, not just you and me or the ones practicing Buddhism, but we all have it. You and I, friends down the street, someone who got locked up, who had committed crime, and even animals, or even heavenly creatures, all of the sentient beings, all the living creatures and beings that actually, living beings that could actually have sentient feelings, emotions, can think, can process, and all of these sentient beings, they all have the true suchness. They all have the inherent Buddha nature. That's what we have to have faith in. That's what chapter 1 through 12 is establishing that. Know this. Please have faith in believing that. Furthermore, have faith in everyone, and absolutely everyone can be enlightened. It's not just the disciples. It's not just the ones with the most wisdom. It's not the one that are most wise or the one that did the most. It's absolutely everyone, and including all the sentient beings, not just humankind, not just the human beings, but sentient beings, all animal, heavenly beings, and all of that can all be enlightened. And that's something that this chapter 1 through 12 is trying to explain, trying to tell people. Furthermore, it also establishes the faith and belief that the direction that everyone has the responsibility to continue the Dharma. So we all, and from beginning with chapter 10, all the way to 12, Buddha was actually asking and recruiting people to try to preach and teach the Dharma, not just himself, but he is giving everybody the strength that you all have the inherent Buddha nature. You all have the wisdom equal to the Buddha, but we need to make it show. We need to make it appear. We already have it. We just need to use it. We just need to return to it. And now that you believe it, now that you have it, now is the time to have the responsibility, assume the responsibility to continue this Dharma, continue this teaching. What is the teaching? That everyone has it, and how do you make it show? And that's the main direction that we need to know, is we all have it, and let me tell you how you can make it show up, how you can use it, how you can make the best of it. That's what chapter 1 through 12 is trying to tell us. Then chapter 13 comes. Chapter 13 is encouraging devotion. What this chapter is talking about is the difficulties and challenges ahead when you are assuming the responsibility to preach, to pass, to continue the Dharma. This is beginning to talk about, yeah, it's all fine and good that we all have the inherent Buddha nature. It's all fine and good that you're telling me how to make it show, how to make the wisdom show. But let me tell you, this world is filled with difficulties. It's very difficult. So in this chapter is actually done by the disciples in response to assuming the responsibility to pass on, to continue the Dharma. Now the disciples are replying to the Buddha, yes, we would like to, but it's really difficult. We are facing all these difficulties and challenges. If it wasn't for a great vow, we would not be able to do it. And indeed, there are disciples, the other disciples, that just chose to say, you know what, Buddha, we thank you and we are grateful for your teaching, but we are going to the other world to teach, to pass the Dharma, to continue the Dharma, but not here, because over here is too difficult and too many challenges. So this chapter outlines all the difficulties and challenges that we will face when we're trying to continue the Dharma. So 1 through 12 establishes the faith in that we all have the wisdom and we all have the capabilities just like the Buddha. And because of that, we all have the responsibilities just like the Buddha to let all the other ones know that they can all become Buddhas too if they only try to work at it. But chapter 13 says it's really difficult. It's not that we don't want to do it, we will do it, but it's really, really difficult. Therefore, chapter 14, peaceful and joyous practices, is Buddha's reply to let everybody know, yes, it's difficult, but it's not that difficult if you know the way. So this chapter 14 says, there are these ways, and let me outline them for you. These are the ways to overcome the difficulties. And not only that, when you overcome the difficulty, you can also maintain your inner peace and joy. And that's Buddha's response. This entire chapter talks about what we do with our body, with what we think with our mind, and what we say with our mouth. These are the things, and then what do we do with our vow? So when you have all these four things, even though there are difficulties, you will be able to find your peace and you will be able to continue your practice joyously. So this is very logical, and I'm doing this in a very, very fast way on the past 17 chapters. So once again, 1 through 12 establish the faith that we can be like the Buddha. We have the wisdom to be like the Buddha. We have the inherent Buddha nature. And because we are just like the Buddha, we have the responsibility too. So to let more people know that they can be like the Buddha too. And let me show you the way. 1 through 12 establish that direction. 13 says it's really difficult. 14 says, let me show you how to overcome the difficulties. And then after all the how to overcome the difficulties, chapter 15 talks about emerging from the earth. In the chapter, it's talking about all the bodhisattvas. After hearing chapter 14, they all emerge from the earth and says, we will do it. We will do it. Now we can do it. We have the faith and we have the courage and we're going to do it, right? So what does that really mean? What this really means, what this chapter is trying to say, it's like a seed, a sapling that grows, that germinates, that comes out the moment that it breaks through the ground. The moment it breaks through the ground, it emerges from the earth. And what that means is, with courage and confidence, that seed, that sapling, just like the wisdom life, begin to emerge. So chapter 1 through 12 establishes the faith and the trust and the direction. 13 tells you how difficult it is to give you an idea that this path isn't going to be rosy and easy. But 14 tells you that it's not going to be easy, but if you just follow the process, if you follow what Buddha teaches us, we will be able to continue. And then 15, because of the courage, because of the confidence, because of how we can continue, because of the joy and the inner peace, wisdom life emerges, breaks through the earth, breaks through, emerges from the earth. And that's chapter 15. And then chapter 16 says that if you believe it real, chapter 16 says, now that the wisdom life breaks free, it says that from courage and confidence, it emerges and it will continue, because the lifespan of the Tathagata, it's actually infinite. It's not just this lifetime, it's very, very many lifetimes. And the wisdom life will not cease. It has always been there, it will always be there, and we need to just make it appear. It has been there for forever, for the eternity. And that's what this chapter is talking about. Trust, faith. It goes full circle, goes back to chapter 1 to 12, that you need to believe. Believe what? That we really have it. So all of the first 15 chapters talks about how, talks about faith, and talks about how we can overcome the problem. 16 comes back full circle and says, you just got to believe. You just got to believe. It's not enough to have courage and confidence. It's more important that we believe. Believe in the Buddha. Believe in the teaching. Believe in all the teachers of the Buddha, of the Dharma. So that's chapter 16. Then chapter 17 talks about distinct merits and virtues. Why? Because after all this process, after you really believe, after you know that it's a long journey and you need to overcome all these problems, chapter 17 says, well, yes, it's a very long journey, it's a very long process, and we are outlined all the things that we had to do, but different people with different capabilities or different belief or different faith, okay, different levels of faith, not different religion, but different levels of faith and different levels of diligence, you are going to get different steps in spiritual cultivation. There are differences in steps in spiritual cultivation, and therefore people or cultivators or practitioners will attain different levels of merits and virtues. It's very simple. If you put in more work, if you devote more time, if you devote more energy, you are going to get more. It's very simple as that. And that's why you have different people at different levels. You have people like the Buddha, who is completely enlightened. And then you have us, the ordinary beings. But even us in the ordinary beings, we also have different levels of spiritual cultivation. Just because in the past lifetime and in the right now, are we cultivating our wisdom? And that's the distinct merits and virtues. The more you do, the more you're going to understand and learn. The more that you're willing to give, the more that you will be able to get. It's a very simple equation. And that's what this chapter is saying, that all these different levels, and like for example, the sixth perfection or the sixth parameter, there are people practicing the first five. There are people practicing only the six, but there will be different merits and different virtues depending on what you do. So that's the overview of the first 17 chapters, done in less than 15 minutes. What that means is that so far, we have established faith, establishes the faith in that we all have the Buddha nature. We can all become the Buddha. But this path is really long and really difficult. But this chapter or this sutra tells us, or the Buddha's teaching tells us, that even though it's really long and difficult, even though it's full with challenges and obstacles, but it tells us how we can overcome it. So it tells us, believe in yourself that you will get there. You will get there. That's the key. You already have it. You're already there. But the idea is, this is going to be difficult to make it show. But let me show you how. And now that you know how and you believe, then the wisdom will begin to grow. It grows to the point where it begins to grow and you realize, hey, wonderful, I'm beginning to learn the Buddha Dharma. I'm beginning to learn the sutra. I'm beginning to understand the sutra. Then chapter 16 tells you, you know what? You didn't just learn right now. This is not the first time you realize you know the Buddha Dharma. This is not the first time you receive this Dharma joy. You have had it for a long time. This is the same idea as the Buddha. Buddha said it's not just 2,500 years ago that he was enlightened. He had been enlightened for a long, long time, just like us right now. If you're feeling the Dharma joy, if you're feeling that you are finally beginning to be very close to understanding what the Lotus Sutra is trying to tell you, then, hey, this is not the beginning. You have had it before. You are not just regaining this joy, regaining the realization that we already knew this, from many, many, many lifetimes ago, and we're doing the same thing. So chapter 16 reaffirms the inherent Buddha nature, reaffirms the faith and the faith that we have, the belief that we have, that it's already in us. And then 17 says, well, everybody is now different because there are different levels of faith and there are different levels of belief and there are different levels of effort. That is why it's distinct. So that's first chapter to 17. A very brief overview. And let me have a disclaimer. This is just my own way of understanding. And honestly, it's only 15 minutes. So please don't quote me as saying, what Joe says is that. It's a way for us to put it into a big picture, into a perspective of what have we been talking about? What is all of this about? And I'm trying to put it into perspective of what the Lotus Sutra has been about up till now. And it's only my perspective, which is very, very, very small and incomparable to others. But to me, it makes sense. And it makes all the sense in what Master has been saying, guiding us along the way. And then I want to talk about the path and the way. And the reason why I want to talk about this is that just exactly following what I have been talking about in chapter 1 through 17. First, we need to have faith. Faith in what? Faith in the Buddha, faith in the Dharma, but most important of all, faith in Master. Why do I say that? Somebody would say, oh, does that mean you think Master is more important than the Buddha? To me, yes, because I don't know Buddha. I never hear Buddha speak. I never hear him talk to me. I never see him do anything because he lives, or at least the version that we know is that he existed or he lived 2,500 years ago. So I believe that he existed. I believe that all the teaching comes from the Buddha when he was enlightened. But more importantly, I have faith in Master because I see and I hear. I see what she does and I hear what she preaches. And I see that I am doing this and that's my faith. I have faith in her. So whatever she teaches me, I believe. And because of that, she adheres completely to the Buddha. And therefore, I know I am not lost in the teaching of the Buddha. So that's faith. Courage is knowing that you have the faith, knowing that Master for the past 52 years has been following the one same step, one single direction and never wavered. Knowing that I need to have the courage when other people shows with this factory or this dissent or this defamatory words against certain things. I need to have the courage to stand up and explain and try to dispel all the nonsense, all the lies, and all of that. So having faith gives us the courage. Having faith gives us the courage to face, to confront these challenges and obstacles. So knowing the direction is what the Buddha and the Lotus Sutra and Master has set out for us. But more importantly, it's the process. The process is from faith to courage. And when you have courage, you want to explain to people what Master does. You want to explain to people. You want to expound what the teaching is about. You need to first gain the knowledge. So if you want to tell people what Tzu Chi does, you need to know what Tzu Chi does first. You need to do it yourself. You need to read it. You need to watch. You need to look at what the things are doing. You need to watch the news. You need to watch all these things. You need to read. You need to hear. You need to actually do it yourself. That you will gain knowledge, but that isn't all. Wisdom is what follows. And that's also very important. So that's the process. That's the path. To be able to have faith, courage, knowledge, and eventually wisdom, that's the path. Because we have the responsibility to be the expounder of the Jingsi lineage, to be the protector of the Jingsi lineage, to be the carrier of the teaching, to be the embodiment of the teachings of Master. And I believe to do all of that, you will be the protector of the Dharma of Buddha as well. Because I think we are coming from the one single lineage, same. Okay, so that's who we are, seeds, the sapling. At the same time, we are the seed. At the same time, we are the leaf. At the same time, we are the shell that the seed is trying to break free. We are the protector, just like the shell that it was encasing the seed. We are the sapling. We are the very, very beginning, the leaf that was coming out. We are the seed that provides the very beginning nutrients for the spawning life. We are everything. That's who we are, the seed. So have the faith. Know who we are. Know that we have the inherent Buddha nature. Have the courage to break through the ground. No longer are we in the confines of our comfort zone. Break through the ground to see the sun, but also to see the harsh weather. To have the faith and have the courage to face those that disagree with you and ask you really, really tough questions. And then to have to be able to embody, to be able to continue, to be able to pass on all this Dharma teaching. That's what we need to do, to be able to continue this teaching. So that's my sharing for today. And I think I have about 3 minutes left. I want to quickly go through many, many questions that we have. So the first question is, it is important to follow principles in daily living, but also to be in harmony in our interaction with others. Which is more important, maintaining the principles or seeking harmony? And I want to tell you this, my answer, as you probably can guess, isn't going to be either A or B. It's never going to be like that. And I think I've shared this with you before, that Dharma isn't the answer. The answer itself isn't the Dharma, but the Dharma will lead you to the answer. What does that mean? Simple. 感恩, 尊重, 爱. Gratitude, respect, and love. Those three are not the answer, but these three will lead you to the answer. So when you're asking this question, you need an answer. Don't jump to the answer and say, well, Joe says I need to maintain principle, therefore I'm cutting you off right now. No. Or Joe says I need to seek harmony, therefore I'm just going to allow whatever to happen and then just continue to be your friends and never say harsh things about what you're doing, even though what you're doing is wrong. No. Always maintain 感恩, 尊重, 爱. Gratitude, respect, and love. If you can maintain these three, that will lead you to the answer of, now should I be following principles? Or should I try to seek harmony? That's the key. That's just like saying the wisdom in the sixth perfection. There are people following the first five only that says, oh, that's principle. There are people that's seeking harmony only. That's the sixth wisdom. But the idea is, while you're doing the first five, you're going to have some trial and errors. You're following gratitude, respect, and love, but then you're going to falter. Oh, it's the wrong time to do this. But you learn. That's how wisdom is gained. You don't just get wisdom just out of the blue. You walk the path, you falter, you learn. So eventually, doing the first five allows you to have the wisdom. And that wisdom will tell you which of the five you should be doing right now. That's the experience you gain. That's why Master says, you put 50 years into this bank, but you maintain the experience that you have accumulated throughout the years. So which is more important? You tell me. Because it's not which one that is the answer. It's if we follow the path, if we know the way, then we're not afraid that the path is going to be very long. So same thing. One of the members in the volunteer group has her own way, blah, 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 so speaks unkind words to the group. Should this person swap duty with other or should it be relief of duty until the person is ready to assume the task? Same thing. Always maintain the Dharma. The answer isn't, everybody or whoever asks me, do this or do that. I am not even there. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what kind of unkind words or whatnot. I don't know. But I know that if we follow this, it's going to lead us to the answer. That's what Dharma is. Dharma is what will help us find the answer, because answer always shifts. Answer at this time with this people at this location is going to be different when all these three conditions is not the same anymore. So we need to know how to find the answer, and the answer and how to find the answer lies in the Dharma. Okay, so volunteers reflect seniority. Okay, this could be due to different uniform, different level of position. How do we eliminate this discomfort feelings of the volunteers? First of all, I'm going through this very quickly, but first of all, let me share with you that in chapter 17, it talks about distinct merits and virtues. It already says we are here. Yes, we are supposed to be equal, but no, because different people put in different effort, you are going to get different results. You are going to be at different steps of cultivation. That's just a matter of fact. You put in more effort. Your mind is more open. You're willing to receive more teaching. You put in more effort, more time, more belief, more faith, and more of that, or you give up more, then yes, you are going to be at a different level of understanding. You're going to be at different levels of cultivation and all of that. So the most important thing is do we accept that? Do we accept the distinct or different levels? All these uniforms that are different and level and positions that are different are only on the outside. But can we see the distinct levels of cultivation? The most important thing is, while we are telling the new volunteers, like some of you here, while we're telling you, yes, everyone is equal. Yes, everyone is equal in that we all have the potential. We all have the inherent Buddha nature. But we are not equal in our understanding. And that is why we're learning. That is why all the students are equal, but you put them in different grades. You put them in different learnings. That's because everybody needs different environment to learn. So how do we eliminate the discomfort feelings of the volunteers? We need to tell them it's equal and it's not equal. Why? That's just how the things are, because we put in different levels of effort. That is why different seeds are going to come out. You put all the water and nutrients and all of that on the one pot of plant. On the other pot of plant, you don't take care of it. It's not going to grow to be the same thing. And you cannot tell me, well, why isn't it equal? It's not how things work. So yes, we're supposed to treat everybody equally with gratitude, respect, and love. But how it's going to come out, it's going to be different. So don't let this idea of, hey, equality and seniority get your head and start to think, oh my goodness, you guys are just saying one thing and doing another. No, it's not. It's not. So, okay. May I know the difference between Mahayana Buddhists versus Hinayana Buddhists? Okay, first of all, we're going to jump to this one. Is it improper to use the term Hinayana? Yes, it's improper. It's not improper, it's more impolite. And it's probably not the politically correct word to use. The word to use is Theravada. Mahayana and Theravada. Okay, so the difference between the two teachings, there are many people already explaining on the chat group what it really means, but it's just different labeling. Are you saying that is elementary school more important than high school? Is high school more important than college? For different people, they are awakened at different stages in their lives. So which one is more important? What about kindergarten? Is it more important? For different people, there are going to be different stages in life where they're more open. So it all depends, but it's just different labels. Believe me, when Buddha first expounded all these Dharma, he didn't have, or at least it wasn't his intention, to cut all these things into different schools, into different paths. It's us because we are attached. We are ordinary beings, and we need to attach to something. Therefore, we begin to form schools, and we begin to form different ideas. And the similar ideas group together and we become one group called the Mahayana and the other group called the Theravada, and the two groups cannot work together. Well, guess what? That's what we do, right? People of similar ages come together. People of similar backgrounds come together. We all love Tzu Chi. We all come together. We all love charity. We all come together. That's what we do. That's what ordinary beings, we attach to these things. May I know the difference between this and that? Well, let me share with you. All that we need to know is this moment. Do you know what is right? Do you know what you need to do? Are you doing that? If not, you should. If yes, good, continue. That's all. That's why I first started to talk about what we talked about last week. Cultivation, how? Is this moment. Cherish the moment. Not to figure out which school do I belong to. If I don't know, I cannot live at this moment. No, you're still breathing. You're still doing. You're still thinking. That's important. Okay? So very quickly, is the wisdom of our heart equal to the wisdom of Buddha? Wonderful question. Wonderful question. Same thing. I'm not going to give you the answer just simply because I don't have the wisdom. It's like asking, who is more wise? Master In Shun or Master Cheng? You know what? I don't know. And I only know I don't have the wisdom of Master Cheng and Master In Shun. That's all I know. Therefore, how can you ask? How can you answer? If our wisdom is this much, and you can say, well, you know, which of these higher skyscraper is taller? If I'm standing from 10 centimeters from the ground, and you're looking at, you know, hundreds of meters above the ground, and asking how big is that, and which one is taller, or how big is the universe? It's too big for us to comprehend. And all I know is, seize the moment now. I know I am not wise enough to answer that, and therefore I need to be wiser. That's all I'm going to do. I can't tell you the answer. And I think, frankly, at this moment, we don't need to know the answer because we just need to know our wisdom isn't there yet. Okay? So finally, okay, I'm over by 7 minutes. Finally, there are 3 yanas or vehicles. Lotus Sutra only mention one, that is Mahayana. Why? Frankly, I'm thankful. Okay? Because Lotus Sutra is already very, very long. 28 chapters, very, very long. Can you imagine? Can you imagine studying a textbook that is so long? It takes, okay, Buddha 7 years to cover the entire stretch. 7 years. It's like when you start from elementary school, grade 1, all the way to grade 7. You're reading the same textbook. It's already too long, and I'm thankful that there's only one yana. If there's more than that, it's going to be continuing. We will never be able to finish, right? So, why does it only mention one? I don't know, but I'm not wise enough to know why there's only one. But let me try to learn this one first. You know, it's like we're in elementary school right now. We're in grade 1. And then you're asking, you know, why am I only learning math? That's addition. There should be more to this. There's obviously, you know, subtraction, addition, multiplication, and division. Why am I learning that now? Why am I not learning that? Because right now, we can only receive and learn this. Once we attain a level of wisdom that's high enough, perhaps the answer isn't just 3. The answer isn't even 1. I don't know what the answer is because I'm not there yet. But right now, I'm focused on learning addition. Let me make sure that I continue to learn this. That's the most important. So we all go back to cherishing the now. Am I understanding what I'm supposed to do now? Am I learning what I'm supposed to learn now? That's the most important. Know what we are. Know what we're doing and know where we are so that we can figure out what we need to do. And then know that this path, Master is leading us on this path. Trust her. Have faith in her. We will eventually see where we're going. But right now, all I'm doing is following Master because where she is, that's where I want to be. Eventually, I'm gonna get there, and maybe not this lifetime, but when I'm gonna get there, I will know, so my next 10 steps are even further away. So that's all the questions answered in 10 minutes. Thank you very much. And I hope they will answer some of the questions, even though I did not provide any answers, but thank you. That's my
And Brother Joe for such wonderful sharing and all the great insights. Okay, today I'm Xiao Qing. Today we have sharing from Sri Dhammasara by two sisters. These two sisters, they have some similarities. Both are very filial. They are great in one part of recycling. They are, in fact, both of them, they are our Seli lead. Also, they are very much into charity. Aside from doing the community charity, they are also helping the English group refugees visit. Okay, today the first sharer will be Sister Li Fong. She's my muji, my mentor for during patient time. She still is until today. She always helped me in doing charities, and both of them actually they're also very deep in Dharma. They have very close affinity with Dharma since before they are in Tzu Chi. Okay, maybe the first sharer, Sister Li Fong. Okay, the first one will be because both of them they went back with us for the boat trip in April recently from 20th until 25th. Okay, Sister Li Fong, maybe can you share your insights from this trip?
Okay. Good morning, Sifu, Brother Joe, and brother and sister Omitofa. My name is Li Fong. I am in ST Center Celia. So on April, we joined English group, go back to Hualien 20 to 25. So I feel very happy I can join the trip. So when I go back to our spiritual home, so I feel very happy and感恩. So first of all, I can see my master Cheng. I'm very grateful because we have to wake up very early at 3 o'clock morning. So we wake up, we prepare everything at 4:15. So we have to go to the Sutra hall to chanting. When we say chanting. So I'm very grateful to see my master because I sojourned on 2014. So almost 4 years already, I have ever go back to my home. So when I go back, I feel very happy and I can see my master Cheng. So I will follow her footstep to go on. Okay.
Okay, and then Sister Li Fong, she's very good in seeking, soliciting donation and getting new donors. Imagine she's a full-time babysitter and she can't drive. How could she? How could she every month get in new donors? She's our role model for this community. Maybe Sister, can you share how do you do it? Okay. Because we know a lot of people we face problem in soliciting donation and getting new people to come into Tzu Chi.
Yeah, okay. First, I want to say, me is babysitter. So I can't every day to come out. So to join our activity. So when I got time on weekend, I will come out for recycle everything. So if for my Mukwan is very hard because I can't drive everything. So my Hualien, until now I got almost 120 Hualien. So how I can correct the Hualien? Because my Hualien to me. So I'm very grateful. Because for me, only my family do the member only almost 20% only. Others is all Hualien outside. Because for me, it's very hard.
Yeah. Okay. It's very actually a lot of sharing because of time constraint. We skip to the next one. Okay, we wish to take the opportunity to wish everyone the triple celebration tomorrow. So tonight, like everywhere around the globe, here in Tzu Chi, our center also we have tonight grand ceremony at Jinsi Hall, and tomorrow at our center there will be we'll be inviting the public to come and eat to pay respect to the Buddha as well as celebrating Mother's Day and Tzu Chi's Day. So tomorrow some of us will be very more than one row ahead. Okay, this sister she has undertaken an important task in our community. Maybe sister, can you share your task?
Yeah, because of me, I want to donate for our international school in Bukit Jalil. So this time we do some basket for the charity work. It's like this.
Handmade.
Handmade. This one I take almost 1 month to do it because I have no time to do it because I was in babysitter. Weekdays I have to look the children. So this one have to take time for me 1 month.
How do you do it, sister? What is this made of?
Because this one is the 3-in-1 plastic bag that we can't recycle it. So we take it to do this basket.
Very nice. Can bring for shopping.
Because this one I learned from recycle center in our Sally here. So luckily I got 3 teams. This one is the teamwork also. If for me 1 person, I can't do too many because 1 month only 1 basket because of my team member. So we do about 10 baskets for tomorrow charity one. So the money all fully we donate to the international school. Okay. 感恩.
感恩 Sister Li Fong. Okay, for those who really like this basket, please come to Sri Dharma Center tomorrow, 8 to 4. Okay, 感恩 Sister Li Fong. Okay, next we have Sister Lily. Sister Lily also a very great Pusat. This sister. Okay, it will be her sharing after this on the abode, on her personal insight. Before that, I must thank this sister. She is also a great Pusat. She can read my mind every time before I do something. She would have known, and then she would have helped me to do it. And I'll ask her, sister, I thought it's my turn today. She said, no, it's my turn. We have to fight for things to do at times. Okay, sister. Okay,
okay, Amitabha and good morning, brothers and sisters. I'm Lily from SD Hualien. I'll share on the following that is Buddha Dharma and me, and also my connections with Tzu Chi, the Yin Okay, I'm born in a Buddhist family who practice chanting. So I join and chant with my parents during prayers in the temple, and even though I chant, I do not know what the meaning was. Okay, so just to be a good daughter. So when I was in my lower secondary school, my mother had cancer and was advised that we children chant sincerely before the altar with a cup of water. After prayers, we offer the water to our mother. True enough, my mother recovered gradually and stayed with us for another 10 years. Okay, now I come to think of it, sincerity, faith, and good thoughts for our mother to recover had touched the heart of the Dharma protectors from the 10 directions and prolonged our mother's life. I'm very grateful because we have our mother to grow up with us and guide us during our teenage years. Next, when I was in upper secondary, I learned about the story of the Buddha, and deep in my heart, Prince Siddhartha was the great noble being who left the luxuries and comfort life to find the truth. With that, I mentally told myself that I want to learn the Buddha's teachings. I would attend Dharma talks and Sunday service in temples or Buddhist society in English medium. One day, my friend said that she attended Sutra studies and she told it was very interesting and she was delighted. Not sure what sutra she referred to, and at that point of time, I did not aware that there are various sutras that Buddha had expounded. I know sutra consists of Buddha's teachings and must be very difficult to understand and need a teacher or master to teach us. I just wish one day I will have a chance to attend sutra studies. So now actually we are attending live Xunfa Xiang on Lotus Sutra, which is the king of sutra expounded by our master Cheng. I'm so grateful and feel blessed. Okay, now next, after I got married and with children, I started to look for Buddhist society which offers Sunday school for children. I noticed there are much stupidities in the current world, and I believe children need to be guided by Buddha's teachings and hoping that they will lead a spiritual life, doing good deeds and no evil and not deviated from the right path. As a parent, I need the Buddha's teaching too, that is to guide me in coaching my children and repeat my wisdom. Never have in my mind what is spiritual cultivation, like what Master have expounded during the Xunfa Xiang. Wen Si Xiu, that is listen, contemplate, and practice. rid our afflictions and ignorance, practice 6 paramitas in our daily life, walk the Bodhisattva path, uphold precepts, attend samadhi, and replete our wisdom, and be vigilant with our body, speech, and mind to ensure that they are in accord with Buddha's teachings. All these require mindfulness and spiritual cultivations, lifetime after lifetime, to cultivate our wisdom life, which we will bring to our next life, to and fro for couples and couples of time, and attain Buddhahood, which is our ultimate goal. Okay. So now I want to share about my yin yuan with Tzu Chi. So we met with Tzu Chi's sister and have introduced us to attend Xing Zi Ban, the parent-child bonding class. At the point of time, every Sunday, my children would attend Sunday school in one of the Buddhist society, and on second Sunday, attend Xing Zi Ban at Tzu Chi. It was fulfilling time for us as family to attend the Buddha's teachings. In Tzu Chi, I started to join Tzu Chi activities at the community center, such as recycling and others. Eventually, 4 years later, I started to join the rank of Tzu Chi volunteers training, 见习 and 培训 and Suchness on year 2016. Now, back to Xing Fa Xiang, I first attended once during 见习. First time, it was tough because I was very sleepy and did not understand what Master expounded. I stopped. Then, end of 2015, after Sister Xiao Qing returned from Shouzhen, she had a new project by Master Cheng. That is to start Xing Fa Xiang for English group, moderated by Brother Joe. From then on, I started to join the so-called English Xing Fa Xiang every Saturday morning, like now. Okay, with more understanding and reading the English transcript from earlier Xing Fa Xiang from websites such as Neptuner and Dharma as Water, and listen to Thai TV Wisdom at dawn, I could understand the Dharma better and started to apply in my daily life, and notice I'm more patient with my children and others. Usually, during weekend, I would sleep until I woke up naturally, no alarm clock for me. On my year of Peishin 2016, I started to attend Xing Fa Xiang from the community center over weekend. With that, I broke my weekend sleeping habits and attend Xing Fa Xiang and benefited from Buddha's teachings. Actually, I stay very near to my community center. It's like a 5 minutes walk. I noticed there are brothers and sisters who have been diligently attending Xing Fa Xiang every day. Some even have to drive a distance. One advantage for me is that I'm Hokkien and have some similarities with Minnan, which Master used during Xing Fa Xiang. So no more excuses for me for not attending live Xing Fa Xiang. Then I tell myself, I must attend live Xing Fa Xiang more frequent. With that, I tried with alternate days. First few weeks was tough because sleepy, and slowly I started with writing notes during Xing Fa Xiang, and that have kept me awake, and I do enjoy over time because I'm able to understand more, maybe about 50%. What motivates me most is our sister Xiao Qing. She's just so superb and diligent. Trying to copy her but cannot catch up. She really has deep root, very sharp capabilities and fast. To lead her in Dharma propagation and daily insights on Xing Fa Xiang, she's my role model. After that, the English Xing Fa Xiang has progressed to another level, where where Brother Joe and Hualien team started to provide translation or live caption for live Xing Fa Xiang on Friday and Saturday. It benefited all of us as it fills up the gap of the missing points of the other question marks, which we do not understand during the live Xing Fa Xiang. Now we have daily live caption from our brothers and sisters, 7 days a week. That is wonderful and so blessed. It definitely will enhance our understanding of Master Life Xing Fa Xiang on Lotus Sutra. My wish comes true as now I'm on Sutra studies. As I mentioned just now, that's my wish. We are indeed very blessed, and from Master Life Xing Fa Xiang, she did emphasize that Buddha's teachings must be spread far and wide, as Buddha Dharma is the medicine to purify living beings' mind in current to beat world, so that we can live in peace and harmony with the Mother Earth. I tell myself I must also contribute to Master wish for Dharma to spread far and wide. Hence, I have started practice in live caption and now in training group. I'm still not qualified for live caption, a lot more to catch up, but improving very slowly. I wish more English-speaking people able to benefit from the live caption and started to realize the importance of spiritual cultivation and will embark on the Buddha path. Finally, on the trip to Hualien with English group, the most memorable scene was to witness our master walking swiftly and gently to the sutra hall to expound the Lotus Sutra for her disciples. I'm deeply moved to see Master. She must have used all her strength to prostrate to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha before started with live Shinfaxiang with her wholehearted effort. And she has prepared so many things before the day of Shinfaxiang. Therefore, we as disciples must put in our great effort to attend live Shinfaxiang whenever possible. Master wanted to nourish us with Buddha Dharma so that we can walk the Buddha path together and apply the profound principles along the way and achieve awakening. Finally, let us engrave in our heart with Buddha's heart as our heart, Master's mission as our mission.感恩, that's my sharing.
感恩, Sister Lily. Sister Lily. Sister Lily. Okay,感恩. Sister Lily is a very humble person, and then she always walks the talk. Imagine she can't read Chinese yet. She has undertaken the task of Xie Zhu Zhang, the Xie head this year. We truly salute her. She's our role model. Okay,感恩, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you both for your sharing. Sister Lily, thank you for your sharing. It always gives us this inspiration to know that, and especially what you said at the end, from very beginning when you first come in contact with Buddhism and not knowing why, not knowing how, and all the way until still not being able to read and somewhat beginning to understand, but now you are now explaining, expounding. And I think that's the thing is that same thing. If you were to ask me 10 years ago that I would be doing this, I would tell you I don't think I could. If I were to ask you before 2015 or 2014, would you be doing this? And you would probably be thinking, how is it possible that if you don't even understand and read, cannot read the Chinese or understand completely, then how would you be able to even translate? So it's the same idea that we have this unlimited potential that yes, we are still learning, but we can explain. Yes, you are still learning, but you can translate. It's the same idea that we have the belief that if we, just like the first 12 chapters, believe in it, then you will have the strength. You will have the strength, then you will believe in it more. And the more that you are working on it, the more you realize you're learning at the same time you're benefiting the other ones who were just like you maybe 5 years, 10 years ago, slowly beginning to understand that's what we're doing. And I don't care if that's called Mahayana or Theravada. It does not matter because we are doing is spreading the Dharma. We're spreading the teaching. Do we understand the complete thing? Is it, am I following the path of our heart or am I following the path of the Buddha? It does not matter because I'm doing this, but I'm following the teachings of my master, which is Master Cheng, and I believe she is following the teaching of the Buddha. That's enough for me. Is my wisdom going to be as high as theirs? Or I know I eventually will be there, but it's going to take a lot of work. So thank you, Sister Lily, for your wonderful sharing, and especially capping it off with Buddha's heart is our heart and Master's mission is our mission. And I want to also go back to Sister Li Hong, where her stories were just amazing. Let me confess that first of all, you have more than 100 Hualien donating members, and I have only one. And this is where I'm going to show you that that's where our distinct merit and virtues will be. When you bring out that you already reach out to hundreds of people, telling them, sharing them stories every month and getting their, asking them to make a well wish for other people by actually donating and contributing to their charity and contributing to their love. You know what? You are the expounder of the Dharma. You are helping to spread the Dharma because you already have the faith and you have the courage to walk into the people and explain the things to them that they did not understand or did not know before. You are the expounder of the Dharma. You are my teacher in that you are doing something that I haven't been able to do. So just knowing that, just to do that, you should have profound sense of accomplishment. But don't let that stop you. Don't let that stop you or hinder you. That should give you the drive force to know that you are on this right path. Continue to do this, but continue to have the courage to spread the Dharma, the teaching. No, it's not about spreading the sutra words, but it's about continuing to do what you do and touch those people that you are already touching and you're already moving. That's continuing the Dharma. So thank you both for the wonderful sharing, and I'm immensely grateful and I'm immensely benefited from both of your sharing today. So thank you. And once again, happy Mother's Day to all of you tomorrow. Well, I mean, it's not like you're not a mother today, you're a mother tomorrow, so I wish you for tomorrow. No, happy Mother's Day to you all mothers every day, especially tomorrow. And happy Tzu Chi Day and happy happy celebrating tomorrow, and it's going to be wonderful, but at the same time, always remember, in these celebration, the most important is our cultivation. Most important is our heart. Are we following the right path? Believe that we are. If we do everything, follow everything the Master says, we are on the right path. Even though it's going to be a long journey, but if we know the way, if we know how, if we know who we're following, then we have no fear. Doesn't matter how long the road is, we're going to get there. Thank you all for today's wonderful sharing, and we will see each other next week. Bye-bye.
Cảm ơn.